So now we are asked to fill in a table that looks like this. And what we have is M of t is the part that goes back to the loan. R of t is the interest that you pay. And these two should sum to C. And we have already established in the earlier part of this exercise that C is equal to 123.3. So what we want to figure out now is what is M of t and what is R of t, because earlier we've already figured out that R of t decreases as M of t increases, since R of t is an interest that is taken on the remaining loan, and the remaining loan becomes smaller and smaller as we pay more and more of the loan back. So let us just try to establish what M and R and L should be calculated as. So let's try to look at R of t first. R of t is given by, well, it's the interest that we take off the remaining loan. So it's given by 4%, because that's what they tell us in this exercise, 4% multiplied by the amount of the loan at your disposal during the year that has preceded t. So for example, if we're looking at R of 5, then that means that the interest that we pay should be given on the amount that we've had at our disposal during this part of our timeline. So that means that R of t is given by 4% of the loan that's remaining after, well, if it's R5, then it's of the loan that's remaining after time 4. So R of t is given by 4% multiplied by L of t minus 1. Think a little bit about that and it'll make sense. If you think about the way you pay off loans for a house or a car, then that's also the way it works with the interest there. Okay, so now we've established how to find R of t. Well, then M of t is easy to find because we know that M of t plus R of t is equal to C, and we know C, so M of t is equal to C minus R of t. Now, L of t is the remaining loan after payment number t. And after payment number t, how much has been paid back of the loan? Well, L of t then is equal to, well, if it's the first period, then it's 1,000 minus M of 1, right? Because then we have just paid M of 1 back. If it's the second period, then it's equal to 1,000 minus, first of all, M of 1, but then it's also minus M of 2, because that would be the remaining loan. So how do we write this in general? In general notation, we prefer to say L of t, so the remaining loan after payment number t is equal to the remaining loan after payment number t minus 1. So the remaining loan there was at the time period before, and then we subtract the part of the loan that we have paid back at period t. And this goes all the way, so like if you have t is equal to 5, then you will have L5 is equal to L4 minus M5. And then what is L4 then? That's given by something to do with L3. And L3 is given by something to do with L2, and so on and so on. So we have to specify that at time 0, the remaining loan, well, is 1,000. And then we can find L1 based on this formula. And after we found L1, we can use this formula to find L2 and L3 and so on. So let's try to do this in Excel. And you can see here that I've already set a little bit up to begin with. So what we have here is, well, the formula for C from the previous exercise, where we now know that C is 123.3. And I have the time down here and M of t and R of t and L of t. So just because it's a bit easier to understand if we actually write actual words, then that is what we will do here. So M of t is payback on loan. At time t. Can we do something like this? Wrap the text. Wrap text. And R of t is interest paid. In that year. And L of t is the remaining loan after time t. So what do we have? Well, we start off by R of t, and we start at time 1, right? Because there are no payments at time 0. So R of t is given by 4%. So that's I. I've defined this cell to be equal to I. So it's given by I multiplied by L of t minus 1. So it's the remaining loan after time t for the time period before, which is given by this. And I can see that I have given this an actual name, and I don't want that. So here I'll just write D6 because it's cell D6 I'm talking about. Okay, and here, what do I have here? Well, I have M of t is equal to C minus R of t. So this is equal to C minus R of t. And what do I have here? Well, this one is equal to the remaining loan after time t minus the payback on the loan at time t. So this is equal to this thing. Oh, and again, I don't want the name of that cell. I should never have changed the name of that cell. D6. Okay, and then minus M of t. Great. So let me try to drag all of this down and then just kind of hope it works. Oh, looks promising. It's very nice. And you can see that the remaining loan after time 10 is as close to 0 as you can get. And just to make this a bit more pretty, let's try to put on some commas here. There we go. And that is how we calculate how much we should pay back in loan. And if we try to look at the correct answer from Jostein, then we can actually see that these numbers correspond exactly to the numbers from the answers. So now you guys also know how to do this in Excel. You probably knew it anyways.